You ever notice how some people can make $5 last all week? They know every discount, every free event, every trick to make stuff last longer. You might think they're just good with money, but here's the thing. There's actually deep psychology behind being poor. It's not just about having less money. Your whole brain changes when you're barely getting by. Let me tell you about Ben. He grew up in a house where payday was everything. Not for fun, just to keep the lights on. Now Ben is older and makes okay money, but he still can't throw away leftovers. He still feels bad buying anything full price. He keeps his house freezing in winter even though he can afford heat now. His friends don't get it. They say, "Dude, you're fine now." But they don't understand. Poverty doesn't just empty your wallet, it completely changes how you think. When you're poor, your brain goes into something called scarcity mode. It's like your mind becomes a calculator that never stops running. It's always adding up costs, always making hard choices. Should I buy cheap shoes that break fast or somehow get money for better ones? Do I fix my car or pay rent? Do I eat today or make sure my kid eats? These aren't fake questions. This is real life, every single day. And here's what happens. Your brain gets so overwhelmed that it can't think about the future. Scientists found that poverty can drop your thinking power by 13 IQ points, not because poor people are dumb, but because their brain is too busy dealing with survival right now. Then there's something called your money script. This is the story you tell yourself about money. If you grew up poor, that story sticks with you forever. Maybe your script says money disappears fast, so spend it now. Or maybe it says, I don't deserve nice things. Or maybe rich people are just lucky. I'm not lucky. You don't even know you're thinking about this stuff, but it controls everything you do with money. I knew this woman named Sarah. Every time she saved a few $100s, something would happen. Her car would need fixing. A friend would need help. She'd convince herself she deserved a treat. In therapy, she figured it out. Deep down, she believed people like her don't get to keep money. Her family was always broke. Having savings felt wrong, like she was betraying who she was. But here's something cool. Some people develop what I call the hypervigilance hustle. They grew up poor, and now they can spot opportunities everywhere. They know which store marks down food when. They can negotiate anything. They've got 3 side jobs and backup plans for their backup plans. It's not really ambition. It's survival instinct that got super sharp. The problem? They can never relax. Even when they're doing okay, they still act like everything could fall apart tomorrow, because in their life, it usually did. And then there's the shame. Nobody talks about this part. In our world, being poor isn't just seen as bad luck. People think it means you're lazy or broken or that you did something wrong. So poor people start to believe that about themselves. They stop going to parties because they can't chip in money. They say no to opportunities because they don't have nice clothes. They become invisible, not because they want to, but because poverty taught them that being seen means being judged. Scientists found that people in poverty feel shame at the same level as people with serious depression. The stress isn't just about money. It's about feeling like you don't matter, like society is constantly telling you that you're doing life wrong. There's also this weird thing with time. When you're poor, the future feels impossible to think about. Why plan for being old when you don't know how you'll eat next month? Why save for college when you need money today? Scientists call this present bias, but it's not stupid. It actually makes sense. If you're always in crisis, planning ahead doesn't help you survive. You need money now, not in 20 years. So people make choices that seem crazy to others. They cash out retirement money for emergencies. They take loans with terrible interest rates. They buy cheap instead of stuff that lasts, not because they don't know better, but because they're playing a totally different game than people who have safety nets. Here's the thing, though. Despite all this hard stuff, poverty also creates something powerful. The ability to make something from nothing. The emotional strength that comes from constant stress. The friendship bonds that form when everyone's struggling together. I'm not saying poverty is good. It's not. But it's real that people who've been poor often have amazing skills. Skills that society doesn't always notice or appreciate. So which of these do you see? Maybe in yourself, maybe in someone you know. Have you ever been in scarcity mode even when you didn't need to be? Or maybe you're the person who can't stop hustling and can't relax. Here's the truth. Understanding the psychology of poverty isn't just about being nice, though we need more of that. It's about seeing that people's money choices aren't just choices, they're survival responses. They're reactions to situations that literally changed how their brains work. And maybe if we understood that better, we'd build a world that doesn't force people to choose between surviving and staying sane.